Oh, there you are, YouTube. Doodle 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 doo. Subscribe if you're interested. Hey, it's time for us to go check out what movie we will be watching based on our random Halloween Advent calendar movie choosing process. Let's go see what we're watching. Okay, October 6th. What are we watching, buddy?
American Psycho.
Ooh, American Psycho. Look at that. Christian Bale.
Okay.
Good job. Okay, so American Psycho. It had been a long time since I had seen it, and there were things that I completely forgot about that felt like brand new to me. They weren't brand new. I know I've seen this movie at least, I would think twice, but I don't know. Maybe it's only once. I don't know. I can't remember, but I have seen it all the way through. But I remember, or when I watched this ending, I didn't like remember it differently, but I just didn't remember it at all, and it felt like brand new information. But anyway, recently I did a random ranking where I pulled American Psycho. I was doing a horror random ranking. It was probably a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and we pulled this movie right here, right? And coincidentally, and I didn't even know this at the time, I didn't catch it, I also picked a movie that is in this movie. Patrick Bateman, in a scene, is watching this, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's watching it, and I pulled these both in the same random ranking, and I just thought, like, when I was watching the movie, I was like, wait a second, I'm pretty sure that I pulled both of those movies on the same day for a random ranking. Went back and looked at the thumbnail, and I did. This movie was pulled, this movie was pulled, and this movie is inside this movie. Can you believe it? Such a fun coincidence. I wish I would have known at the time, because I could have mentioned it, but as I stated, it's been a long time since I had seen American Psycho, so none of it was really fresh in my head. So I was glad to refreshen that film, because to me, mostly all I remembered from it was Jared Leto is in it, and kind of his Jim Carrey, Christian Bale's Jim Carrey-like acting, especially when he is getting ready to, I guess spoilers here, kill old Jared Leto in the movie, and you know, he's like walking around like Ace Ventura or something, as the way he's like navigating the room and sort of like talking. And did he say that? I feel like I remember an interview, or maybe it was just an article I read or something, where maybe Christian Bale said this, that he was inspired by Jim Carrey when he was doing Patrick Bateman. Is that right, or am I just like making that up? I can't remember. But I definitely felt the Jim Carrey vibes as I was watching this. But like, what else did I remember from the movie? Well, the videotaping of those scenes when he's videotaping, I remember that. Oh, the phone call, I remembered that. But the big thing that I didn't remember that felt very fresh was just, I'm going to get into spoilers here, was just the ending. Like, I feel like I had no memory of it possibly being that he didn't commit any of those murders at all. Like when he, at the end there, when it was like revealing that none of this may have happened at all. Like, that one dude had lunch with Jared Leto like twice, just a few days ago. I was like, what? Is that right? Like, I was like, I just don't remember this at all. It all felt so fresh and new and like a twist to me that I wasn't picking up on at all while watching the movie, and I certainly didn't remember it from previous viewing. How many times have I seen American Psycho? I wish I could remember. But anyway, I'm glad to have this most recent watch, which felt less passive and more active, because I was just like, you know what, I really want to pick up on this movie, because I pulled it for random rankings, and I just felt like I didn't have much to say about it other than just little glimmers of memory. But it was good to get back to it, and I really do think I almost called him Christian Bateman. Patrick, when sort of like watching his Jim Carrey style of acting in this and the type of character he's playing, sort of this evil villain, it is almost like, oh, and the wealth that he has, and we're seeing him in tuxedos and limos and things like this. It's sort of like a blend of a Batman, or Bruce Wayne, and the Joker. It's like he's blending. This has probably been said 100 times. But, you know, obviously he was Batman in the Nolan films, but it's almost like we're seeing if Batman had gone the Joker route, right? So we're seeing this very wealthy Bruce Wayne, Patrick Bateman, being a Batman villain. Like, he feels like he's acting like the Joker or Jim Carrey's Riddler or something like that, right? So, I don't know, I just found all of that interesting. Just the fact that he eventually becomes Batman a few years later, and then here he's sort of acting like Jim Carrey, who played a Batman villain a few years earlier, quite a few years earlier, but it was, I don't know, it just felt like there was something there, something interesting to think about, to ponder a little bit while watching the movie, just how small Hollywood is, how you know, you toss a rock, you're gonna hit something that references another movie. Does that make sense? I had a cousin once. People were always like, "Man, you know everybody," or you're like related to everybody, and he's like, "Yeah, you throw a rock, you're bound to hit some of my relation." But yeah, that's kind of how it felt like when watching this. It was like, that makes me think of Batman. That makes me think of Jim Carrey. That makes me think of the Riddler. And then, you know, it just becomes like its own like weird Batman movie or whatever. But yeah, it was good to revisit this after having not watched it for a very long time, and then it felt very fresh, very new. I like the satire of it all. It is just, it has a very strange aesthetic. It's shot in an interesting way with the I don't know, some of the symmetry, some of the cleanliness that we're seeing. All of that, I think, it is interesting against the bloodshed that we are seeing within the movie. All sorts of wild things happening in this, and I like how stylistic the movie is, not only visually, but also in Christian Bale's acting. Everybody's acting. Just it's all sort of over the top, over the top wealth, and seeing that coming through these performances, the way they're portraying the Wall Street wealthy and all of that. But yeah, it was good to see again, and very strong film. And my wife, actually, I thought this was a first time watch for her, but she said she had seen it too, but didn't remember much from it. What she remembered was the business card comparison scene. That's what the measuring contest that was going on with the business cards. She was like, okay, this is mostly what I remember from the movie. So she had seen it, but only really knew that part. She liked it too. She was saying, because I was like, what'd you think? And she said she liked it, but she doesn't think it's going to be one that she would like revisit all the time, where other movies like Zodiac, like that's on a lot. Also, let's see, well, I guess another Fincher, Gone Girl, we have that movie on a lot. We used to watch Seven quite a bit. We don't really watch that one as much anymore. I think we've kind of stuck with Zodiac, especially. That's like one of her favorite movies ever. So that one's on a lot. And then again, Gone Girl, we watched that a lot. So I feel like when it comes to those types of movies, like serial killer style films, those are the main two. I don't think this one's going to get added to the roster, but she did like it. So yeah, I thought that was cool. But yeah, for some reason I think I was under the impression she hadn't seen it, but she had seen it. So yeah, it was good to watch American Psycho again. What do you think of this movie? I feel like a lot of people are very familiar with it. more than I was. So again, glad to see it again. But yeah, what are your thoughts in the movie? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.